Ah, how are you?
Ricky Baker.
How are you, Ricky Baker? Ricky Baker. Ricky Baker. Hunt for the Wilder People. You ever seen that? One of my favorite movies of all time. I love the ending. I won't ruin it for you, but he's like, what would be the quickest way out of here? And the guy goes, jetpack. Rise Darby. He goes, jetpack. And they go, oh, great, you got one? He goes, no. What's up, Edward Thornton? How you doing, man? How is your Tuesday? Sunday Monday? Sunday Monday. How's your Wednesday Thurs? How's your Thursday Wednesday? I don't know what day it is. Everything blurs together when you wake it up at 4 in the morning, working, doing this, to go back to work, doing more stuff. It's just all blur. Is there even a weekend anymore? There is no weekend anymore. Maybe for the wealthy. Maybe for the wealthy. In this Christian nation. Right. Yeah, they give a shit about Christ and the Sabbath. That's the funniest thing when they're like, we gotta get back to God. It's like, okay, then give everybody Sunday off, you dingo. I remember a long time ago. Here's a story for you. I'm Rob. I'm from Massachusetts. And a long time ago, we used to have blue laws. Blue laws. Massachusetts, very colonial. And shit would be closed on Sunday. I remember when I moved to California and you could like go, you could shop on Thursday, on Thanksgiving. And I was like, what is going on here? Uh, I think they've basically abolished any kind of day off for anybody in the whole nation. But when I was growing up, you couldn't buy liquor on Sunday. There were certain stores closed on Sunday, and Christmas and Thanksgiving, nothing was open. Nothing. You need a turkey baster from Rite Aid, you're shit out of luck. And that's all gone to the wayside. Why? Because corporations own the politicians who we vote for. The corporations can't vote. Oh, really? Citizens United? They have personhood? Let's see one of these motherfuckers vote. Huh? Go out to the ballot box, Amazon. Um, I'm just chilling out, taking the day off. Hot dog! That's what I like to hear. Take the whole fucking week off. Do you need a doctor's note? I'll write you one. If they ask you what kind of doctor wrote you this note, say, a vibe doctor. That's what I am. I'm the vibe doctor. I'm Dr. Rob, the vibe doctor. Nobody checked Dr. Dre's credentials, did they? No, he just got away with it, man. Dr. Pibb, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Scholes. Was he a podiatrist or a pediatrician? But nobody's checking these people's credentials. I guess that what you got to do is if you're going to put doctor in your name, you got to incorporate. So then you can't be held liable. But welcome to the live stream. Good to hear Eddie. Old Eddie's taking the day off. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. I have my own business, so my day of rest is whenever I need one. And that's how it should be. If you need, if you need a day of rest and the Lord said it be, then let it be. Like the Beatles said, let it be, let it be. What is that Beatles song? Let it go, let it be. Mother Mary, can't you see? Let it be. What is that Beatles song? Anybody know that Beatles song? Let it go, let it be, let it may. When I'm in times of hardship, Mother Mary comes to me. Let it be, let it be. Is it let it be? I don't know. Now I gotta look it up. It's bugging me. We're gonna talk about Slow Rogan. Beatles, let it. Yeah, it is Let It Be. I was right. I was just singing it wrong. Let it be, let it be. John and Ringo, Paul and me. And George was on the guitar. Let it be. I don't think that's how the Beatles song goes, but write lyrics. I actually probably going to patch my roof and put a new coat of waterproofing on it. There you go. That's Let It Be. It is Let It Be. But every time I say Let It Be, I got another song stuck in my head. Oh, that's going to bug me for the rest of the week. Now I'm going to have to listen to Let It Be. I can't do it on here. Those Beatles are litigious. All right. All right. What do we got to talk about? A bunch of stuff. Um, let's see. What's on the docket? What's on the docket? I say fuck it. What's on the docket? First things first. I Papa need you to hit subscribe. That's right. It's free. It is free. It is free. Is that part of the song? I don't think so. I need you to hit subscribe. I see you sitting there in your car watching me on your phone. I won't tell anybody. I'm not going to tell anybody that you're taking a longer break than usual. That's fine with me. I told you, just leave it in the comments if you need me to write you a doctor's note. Please excuse so-and-so from work. Needed a day off. The Lord let it be. There was a track that the Beatles didn't like the drums on, but Ringo had already left the studio, so Paul played the drums and got the track they wanted. Really? I know. Listen, I know Ringo isn't the best drummer. I think we all know Ringo isn't the best drummer. But, he was there. Sometimes, listen, folks, I know everybody in America thinks you just work hard enough and then, good shit happens. Right. That's hilarious. But sometimes it's about place and time. Sometimes the stars align. You ever read Billy Shakespeare? Star-crossed lovers. Sometimes it's just destiny. Sometimes your fate is written in the stars. Look at Joe Rogan. You think Palantir accidentally purchased the largest shares of stock in Spotify and then boosted him, and then coincidentally became great friends with Joe Rogan, old Peter Palantir eater? I still think you should have called it Palanteal. Peter Thiel should have called it Palanteal. But, who am I? A lonely hundredaire. I mean, if you're one of those people who believes in coincidences, that's fine. You just think Palantir owns a lot of Spotify stock. They saw the puppet that was Joe Rogan and thought, that's an impressionable young mind that we could absolutely influence because his ego really drives his point of view, and he's definitely not secure with himself, hence any interview he has. And they said, we could totally mold that impressionable young mind. And Palantir then was like, Spotify, Daniel Elk, give that man $100 million contract. And then we'll slowly and inconspicuously mold ourselves into the Joe Rogan sphere. If you could probably look up, there's probably a collage of people clipping Joe Rogan's guests all saying, hey, my good friend Peter Palantir. And when Peter Palantir went in there, I know that's not his name. I just think he should have named his company Palantir. Even when Theo Von, I couldn't believe how dumb Theo Von is. I'm like, does fucking Theo Von not have Google? Because even Theo Von was just on Joe Rogan's. I saw him clipped, and Theo was like, oh, you know that company Palantir? And I was like, oh God, Theo, you really are a dumb blonde. You don't even know that that's your buddy Joe's best friend, Peter Palantir? Oh, man. But yeah, if you believe in coincidences, then of course, Joe Rogan worked hard. What did he work hard at? Saying the N-word on a podcast? What did he do, really? What did Joe Rogan do again? To become the mainstream media that, Utes 17 to 35 get their fucking veterinarian doctor advice from? Like, what did he do again? He didn't release a comedy special like Dave Chappelle to get notoriety. He didn't have a TV show he hosted. Well, again, what did he fucking do to get this kind of influence in America? I don't know. Anyways, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think, Palantir had star-crossed lovers' eyes for Joe and picked him. Boop! They said out of all, because listen, I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, okay? And they said out of all these podcasts, who's the most impressionable, and we could probably bully, or not even bully, we could just influence him into being a billionaire cuck puppet? Joe Rogan. And you could see it on full display when I used to do my podcast, Ears version. I talked about it, because when Bill Burr went on right after the panic, Bill Burr talked about, he was like, you know what wearing a mask is like? Because Joe Rogan used to be for a mask. He used to say it makes sense. That's why doctors wear it. And then he flip-flop. And Bill Burr, another masshole, Joe Rogan, masshole. Bill Burr, sniped him on it and was like, oh, you know what the whole mask thing is, Joe? It's like when everyone rollerbladed, which, by the way, I want to get a pair of rollerblades again. And he said, and one person made the joke that rollerblading's gay, and there was a million rollerblades thrown away that evening. And that's Joe, Joe enjoyed the rollerblades, enjoyed the mask, until one person was like, oh, you wear a mask? Gay. And he was so influenced by that. He didn't want to be seen as, not a man. And it's like, a real man doesn't give a shit what sheep say. You don't care. You're not making your decisions because somebody made fun of you. This is why I'm a vibe doctor, because I try to teach the youths this, that if you want to know what the definition of a man is someone makes fun of you, the next day you're not changing your lifestyle because they made fun of you. You're confident in whatever the fuck you're doing. Okay. See, these fucking idiots. Get out of here. Just get out of here. Listen, if you turds want to come into my comments, he bought the UFC. I think that was him or the other white dude. Yeah, they all look the same. Dana White. Dana White's the UFC one. Rogan is a bootlicker. Thank you. But listen, you Frank and Chris, you turds, if you want to come in here on my live stream and mouth off to me, I'm going to mute you. Don't you dare come in here acting like, you're even fucking brave enough to have your own live stream. Shabaf. I got to create a new word for you idiots. I'm going to let old Mike Hilbert stay here for a minute, because I want you to hear, this is from the Majority Report, I want you to hear Joe Rogan being a puppet for the billionaires. He's a puppet bootlicker, okay? He's the North Korean news lady for Donald Trump and the corporations. This is off the Majority Report, because I ain't going to look at Joe Rogan's page. I'm not wasting my time. It's all fucking brain rot. But listen to Joe Rogan telling you, oh, no, it's not the greedy people, the greedy billionaires that are hoarding all the wealth being a problem. Why don't you listen to this?
Jimmy Carr, is that a comedian?
Yeah, British comedian.
Okay. Right, good luck.
A weird political ploy, too, to look to the wealthy people and say, they're the problem. They're your problem.
By the way, you know what the one thing that's changed in America in the past 70 fucking years is the wealth gap. That's it. We've always had immigrants. Always. Country was founded because immigrants came here and said, we're not immigrants anymore. Always been gay people. Always been gay books. Always been gay penguins. Always been green M&Ms. The wealth gap and how the wealthy have consolidated that wealth. Greed is insatiable. They pay a lower tax percentage than you and I do. We bust our ass all day. And that's the only thing that's changed. It's interesting that this is Joe's take on it.
That's the thing that people will do to the proletariat, right?
How dare he say the proletariat? Who the fuck? He's been listening to somebody.
They'll tell them the reason why you're in this situation today is because of these greedy people aren't paying their share.
Yeah. That's it, Joe. You hit the nail on the fucking head. Now go ahead and pretend like it's nothing to do with that, or why don't you come up with some good excuse of why we shouldn't even address this? Why, Joe, that when you and I were growing up, Joe, a person could work one job, go to school, buy a house, their health care was affordable. They could do all this stuff on one job. Why, Joe? Why, Joe?
Well, if they paid their share, where's it going to go?
I'm sorry. I just want to weigh in for a sec. It's amazing that he is making the argument, if you just took out wealthy people and put in immigrants, that's the cynical fascist argument that the Trump administration is currently deploying, and it's a lie.
That's a great point that Emma makes, because that's literally what Joe and Trump and Theo and all these dudes, when they were getting Trump elected, did. They were like, oh, it's immigrant. If we could just get rid of the immigrants, then you can have your house back. You know, like that's literally what they think. It's incredible how fucking dumb these people are. This is why it's fate that destined Joe to be this mainstream puppet for the billionaires and Peter Palantir. Because he was easily manipulated. And Joe, I highly encourage you, homeboy, check out your adopted state of Massachusetts. We put a millionaire's tax, and guess what? Our millionaire percentage went up. No kid goes hungry at school. You could get a free bachelor's degree. It's actually an amazing thing, Joe. It's an amazing thing. But let's continue on. Let's hear what Joe has to say. You know, common man Joe. $100 million man Joe, who when he needs horse dewormer, he has his veterinarian on speed dial. You know, that guy who lives in a bubble, you know?
Today is because of these greedy people aren't paying their share. These wealthy, if they paid their share, like, where's it going to go, though? Is it going to go to this corrupt government that's the one who's feeding you this nonsense in the first place? What are you going to do? You're going to enrich that?
Wait, the corrupt government that's feeding you this nonsense in the first place? Joe, Donald Trump is not saying that this is fucking greedy people. It's okay. It's all right. Joe's a moron. It's okay. Remember, he's a moron.
They're just going to get bigger and stronger and have even more power. And then you're even more fucked. You're even more fucked because you...
It just shows how little Joe knows. Like, that's not, what happens. I know it happens with this Trump regime. They're just, he let Elon Musk come in, steal all our data, and get rid of any lawsuit against his companies and just take all the money he wanted and pay his employees a ton of money, even though he was bragging about putting a video game thing in his office while he worked. Working real hard, Elon, while you have video games in your office? Okay. Can your employees do that, Elon? Can your employees put video games in their office while they work for you? Huh? It's cool how, the boss wants to show you how cool he is. Remember when Elon was bragging about putting video games in his office? And then it turned out he was paying some guy in China to game for him. But Joe, that's not how it works. I know the Trump regime has really raided our treasury, our taxpayer money. But here in Massachusetts, we put a millionaire's tax in, and it didn't just make the government corrupt and wealthy. There's like ways to figure out where that tax money goes. It's a complex thing. I think too big for Joe's mind.
You don't have any resources.
And here's the other problem I have. Just as a guy who, did podcasts, worked in radio for 20 years, you should just know something. Like if you're going to talk about something on your show for a few hours, what we used to do is like research. It's a crazy concept. You think about what you're going to talk about, or if you have your show planned out, you're going to have a guest on, and you would look up stuff or read stuff about them, or try to figure out here's different facts or examples or cases where this has gone into effect and worked. There's many books on things like this. So it's just incredible that Joe has all the time in the world, right? He's forced to do nothing. Has all the money he could need or want. And Joe can't even bother to do research, especially because, he lived in Massachusetts for a long time. Before, he was real young in Jersey, then came to Massachusetts. And it's just, it's incredible that Joe couldn't even Google, does a wealth tax work? And see that hey, Massachusetts has done this and it's worked superb.
It's not going to help you if they tax rich people, and then are the poor people going to get that money? No.
Yeah, Joe. The poor people do get that money in different ways. Here in Massachusetts, anybody's child from this millionaire's tax that goes to school in Massachusetts, which is a shitload of people, some would consider it the future generations. They get breakfast and lunch for free. They don't have to bring no money, and they could just eat. It's directly benefiting the poor people, Joe.
Ew. Are there services?
Let's hear that again.
Fucked. You're even more fucked because you don't have any resources. It's not going to help you if they tax rich people, and then are the poor people going to get that money? No. Are there services going to improve? No.
Actually, our services do improve. They're using this millionaires tax to fix roads, to allow anyone to go to community college and get a bachelor's degree. And like I said, if you have ever heard of a child, they're all over the place. They do this thing called school, and they all get lunch and breakfast for free in Massachusetts. It's surreal to me that you can have that people in America still think money equals like they're smart, because this dude is the dumbest fucking propagandist I've ever seen. Because Joe couldn't even bother to research. Like a quick Google wealth tax, and you would see. You would see in Massachusetts there's a wealth tax that has worked. And we're trying to fight for a corporate fair share tax. It's hilarious.
No, you're just going to get more government. It's
We didn't, Joe. We didn't get more government. We actually got better communities in return. I know people specifically getting a free bachelor's degree right now from this wealth tax.
It seems like a good idea.
I like that
maybe
Jimmy
the
Fallon's
solution
like,
is going to tax the rich people, but that's
Hold up.
No.
I mean, this is what's fascinating is that Joe Rogan seems to be devolving in terms of his understanding.
Are their services going to improve? No, you're just going to get more government. It seems like a good idea. Like maybe the solution is we got to tax the rich people, but you got to figure out what to do with the money you already get from everybody, and you're not doing a good job with it. Like that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem, Joe. What are we doing with the money that we get from people, Joe? Where's that money going, Joe? Didn't you cut all those programs, Joe? Didn't you elect the guy who wanted to cut all the community programs?
Problem isn't like the rich people aren't paying their shit. Like I always hear that about Elon. Like he doesn't even pay tax. Elon paid more taxes in 2024 than any living human being that has ever existed. He paid something like $10 billion in taxes.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. I love this because this makes my point. I can't believe that Joe could say that seriously and not understand that the point is Elon paid, they say what, 10 billion? And again, I think he's wrong, but because Elon bragged that he was paying 10 billion in 21, right? That's like not even a percentage of his earnings and worth, or unrealized gains. And when you look at between 2014 and 2018, his wealth grew by 13 billion. He only paid 455 million in federal income taxes. His effective tax rate, and that's what we're talking about, Joe. Because Joe, to make my point so you can understand this, is you're right. Paying 10 billion's good. What percentage of what he made that year is that? Because if it's 3.27, guess what? That's not his fair share. You, well, not you, Joe, but you workers pay around 22%. Do you think it's fair that the guy who can spare the most money, who has so much, he bought Twitter, spent 300 million on an election, gets all our tax monies and subsidies? You think it's fair that for 4 years he paid a 3.27% tax rate? Joe, I also want to play this clip of Warren Buffett, who's another billionaire, who talks about my point, that if these billionaires, because, they have that money, for us paying 22% of 100,000 or 60,000 or 300,000, we're just getting by. But billionaires who don't worry about rent, heat, egg, they don't even know the price of eggs. If they paid 22%, not only could we fix the deficit, isn't that what Republicans always like to do? But just listen to what Warren Buffett has to say.
On income taxes, we think it's appropriate that a country that's been as generous to our owners.
It's amazing to hear Warren Buffett talk about his Berkshire Hathaway, his company. He's like, we're so lucky to be in America. You don't hear billionaires saying that. He's like, I'm so fortunate that our company's here in America. Where are the billionaires being grateful that America allowed them this? you know, where the workers created that wealth. You don't see that.
It's been the place. I was lucky. Berkshire was lucky it was here. And if we send in a check like we did last year, we sent in over $5 billion to the U.S.
So this is 2024. He said last year, Berkshire Hathaway sent in $5 billion to the government to pay our taxes.
Federal government. And if 800 other companies had done the same thing, no other person in the United States would have had to pay a dime of federal taxes, whether income taxes.
He just said if the other 800 companies had paid their fair share, no person would have to pay income taxes. So, Joe, that's our point, is if the people who have the most paid their fair share, the whole country would be doing better. But you brag about Elon Musk paying some measly fucking share, some scrounging rat-ass percentage of his wealth. And you're like, he paid so much. And people do this in my chat all the time. They're like, he paid more than you ever will. And it's like, that's the fucking point. Why try to collect $1,000 from 100 million people when you could corner the 800 who have billions and go, you guys need to pay your fair share? Why are we chasing 100 million people for $1,000? Again, just work with me on the metaphor. Well, why would you chase half the country for $1,000 when you can have 800 companies worth trillions of dollars and go, you guys have to pay fucking 50%? And I don't want to hear anyone in my goddamn comments go, oh, you're stealing from, oh, now I don't want to have a business. Really? Really? We're talking about billions and trillions of dollars. If you had $1 billion, you gave half of it away, guess what? You're not homeless. You're not. So shut up. I hate that logic. Charlie Kelly. In the 50s, millionaires were taxed at 90%, it made the middle class. It wasn't a strong middle class. It created the middle class and paid for the highways across America. All sorts of projects in America. And now if we were wondering why our roads are decrepit, why the infrastructure sucks, why public transit is horrible, well, you can thank the greedy because they've whittled their taxes down to a measly 21%. That's for corporations if they pay, if they pay a real share at all, because they get write-offs. They have yacht write-offs. Donald Trump also fired all the high-income auditors in the IRS, so there's no more audits for the billionaires. Those specialty jobs have been bye-byed. But this is Warren Buffett saying it. So it's just incredible to me. Thank you, Charlie Kelly. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the $10 super chat. But it's just incredible that fucking get out. Listen, if you're going to be on the other side of this, if you're going to be for bootlicking with billionaires with Rogan, go to his lives, go to his comment section. There is no two sides, okay? There is only one side. And then there's the propaganda to keep things the status quo. And you see, listen, if not taxing rich people worked, it would have happened by now. It would have happened by now. I hate to break it to you, but Reagan, started this kickback, trickle-down thing back in the 80s. And guess what? Hate to break it to you, shit's gotten worse in America. Last year, people were like, please, sir, can you lower price of egg, please? Shit ain't glory days around here. Why do you think Trump's whole campaign was populist politics? He was like, we're going to lower grocery prices. Yeah, that's an old-fashioned word. Did I make that up? And then he got in office. He was like, just kidding. Fuck you guys. I'm lowering the corporate tax rate permanently. I love these maggots that come in here now and they're like, oh, shut up, man. Don't mess with the billionaires. But last year they were like, please lower taxes. Please, 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 please lower egg prices, Donald. It's like, I'm just not going to entertain your conversation because you're all hypocrites. And if Donald Trump decided to say we should lower egg prices, then you'd all be like, yeah, egg prices are the worst ever. You don't have, just like Joe Rogan, you have no spine. I don't know how you were born without one, but you don't have one. You can't stand up straight. You can't take a stand. You don't know anything. It's amazing. And Joe Rogan's making the point. Elon Musk paid $10 billion. Yeah, what was that? 5%? Is that a tax rate of 5%, Joe? Why don't you say the percent instead of the number? Because then we can equate and we can go, oh, well, let's see. I work really hard and I paid 22%. Elon paid a 3.2% tax rate. How the fuck did that happen? Shit's broken. If I'm paying 22% and Elon Musk, who doesn't have to worry about rent, heat, groceries, egg, if he gets to fucking pay a 3% tax rate, I would say the tax system is broken. It doesn't need to be reformed. It needs to be replaced. And Joe Rogan is just too stupid. This is when you know he's all self-consumed in his little bubble because he can't even hear what he... Some people don't hear themselves when they speak. He can't, you know? Some people you go, do you hear the shit that comes out of your mouth? Or do you just say stuff and, you know, not think about anything that you've said? But Joe can't. He's so convinced now. He's like, I'm $100 million man. Shit I say is legit. I'm a trendsetter. Hurrah! Watch me take an ice bath. I still think it's hilarious that grown men watch Joe Rogan do an ice bath. Tell me you're not wasting your time watching Joe Rogan do fucking ice baths.
I felt like I did.
Oh, here's Jimmy Carr. I think he got busted for some tax thing anyways. I love it, you know. They could gladly pay their taxes and still fucking live a good life. And they're like, God damn, man, if I have to pay what these working people are paying at 22%, I don't know how I'll live on my jumpy boat yacht. You know, you ever seen Joe Rogan on his yacht? It's got like a bounce house on it. It's like Joe Nolan's trying to take your bounce house yacht, bro. We're just saying the issue is that Elon Musk is paying 3% on his wealth, while the rest of us are paying 22%. I don't know about you, but everybody I know thinks that's fucked up. And I'm not talking about people in the comments, because these rats are just like, no, man, it's good that Elon Musk only pays 3%. I'm very happy with America. It's like, oh, really? Let's catch you in an election year and see what you have to say. Oh, you fuck Chad Thunder, worst name ever. You don't understand economics. No, you don't, you fucking moron. Have him move out of America. Silenced. Because, again, Chad, you fucking dummy. Massachusetts, we did a millionaires tax. Guess what? You know your bootlicking propaganda that you go, oh, everybody's gonna leave. Oh, they said that in Massachusetts, too. Oh, the billionaires paid to pamphlet our house every fucking couple of days. We're all gonna leave if you tax us. Report: number of millionaires in Mass actually gone up since it took place. Our millionaire percentage grew. Look, in Washington, they did a millionaires tax and it grew by 47%. So again, that's propaganda, and I'm here to dispel that for you because these fucking morons will. And the article is linked in the description because I'm done with that propaganda. I've seen lobbyists do that. Watched it at the State House. I watched it in real time, and to see it in my comments is fucking unreal. You bootlickers need to get the fuck out of here. This ain't the live stream for you. You think you could talk to me like that? Shut your mouth. Shut your hole. Get out of here. You guys are all American-hating class traitors. I want you to understand that. You're class traitors. That's what you are. You little sniveling rats. And I dare any one of you to do a live stream and talk about how the rich pay too much in taxes. Why don't you go do a live stream? Show your fucking face on your YouTube channel that you're so proud to fucking bark in my comments. And why don't you say, you know what? Elon Musk pays too much in taxes. My God, we should be paying him. Well, we already do. We float all of his companies with our tax money. So why don't you go and say we should be paying him more with our taxes? That illegal South African immigrant we should all just be giving him our money, even if we don't shop at Tesla. We should all just be, why don't you go do that? That's your take. I want to see you do a live stream where you just talk about how Jeff Bezos pays too high of a tax. I think he paid 1%. I don't know how he's surviving in near orbit space. Go do that, you fucking losers. None of you turds will. Tag me. Let me know when you go live. And you can brag and fucking talk about how great America is right now. And you can talk about how Donald Trump solved everything, right? Egg is free. Pharmaceutical companies agreed 700% off. So now they're paying you to take your prescription. They're paying us, man. 700% off. That's what it means. And you can talk about how corporations have it too hard in America. We don't want them to leave. We should just never have them pay taxes ever again. And it should all be on the working man. Why won't you do a live stream saying that, huh? Huh? YouTube's free. Go do your own live stream. You have I love it. The guy in my comments says, we actually have lives. No, you don't. No, you don't. I know that, Danny DeFardo. I know you don't have a live. You're a Russian bot. You're doing your quota for the day, and then you're going back to Putin going, all right, I tried to sow divisiveness in America. Can I have my ruble? Or whatever the fuck you get. Don't act like you're in my comments being like, I'm actually very busy right now. I can't do that. I'm sorry. My girlfriend's in Canada. Right. Okay, buddy. Too busy, but you're in the comments. Again, I say this all the time. Go do a live where you talk about what you believe in. Or do you got to wait for Trump to tell you? By the way, Epstein files should be here in a day, right? These people are sad. You guys are sad. It's a sad thing, man. It's a sad thing to watch. Do you guys not understand that Elon exposed a lot of these bootlickers, these like people who come in here and be like, I don't think these corporations should be paying any tax at all, because that's your take, you know? The richest among us in America should not pay taxes. That's what you think. It's a great take. It's interesting, you know, because we're trying to get there. Donald Trump's really trying to make sure corporations have nothing on the line. So it's a weird take, but you didn't see that Elon Musk exposed most of these MAGA accounts, these big influencers on Twitter. They're all in like Russia, Nigeria, Southeast Asia. Did you miss that news? Or are you just playing stupid? Oh no, it's not playing stupid. You are, huh? But yeah, Joe Rogan is an absolute tool, a fucking tool, man. And in the day of Joe Rogan's and Donald Trump's, these Epstein associates released the files, you got a day. I wanted to play this because Rob Reiner was such a great man. I really didn't appreciate his humanity outside of his art as much as I should have. And this was somebody clipped together a bunch of Rob Reiner talking out. Rest in peace. My heart goes out to his family. But Rob was radical, man. Fucking everybody should speak out when there's a racist grifter in the White House.
In the White House. We have a sexist in the White House, and he is tearing away at the fabric of our democracy.
What up, Dusty?
The single most unqualified human being to ever assume the presidency of the United States. He's mentally unfit.
People always say, you know, you could redo All in the Family. I said, what do you mean? We're living it. We've got Archie in the White House. Always when he quotes something that isn't him, and they're talking about Donald Trump, he goes, well, Donald Trump, every character is exactly the same. Well, Donald Trump, every time. And he always does that walk where he does like this, you know? Always.
The problem he has, as far as I can see, is that he's a pathological liar. People have to understand our democracy is being taken away from us. Make no mistake, we have a year before this country becomes a full-on autocracy. This is not a political party anymore. I don't know what this is. I believe there's a Christian nationalist movement that's very frightening. Do we want to continue democracy, or do we want to slip into fascism?
That was rad, man. Rest in peace, Rob. History will remember, you know, this moment, and where you stand is up to you. But for those who are bootlicking for the powerful, you know, I always think it's funny the people who think they're anti-establishment but are, you know, have all the power, breaking all the laws, tearing up the Constitution, you know, and these MAGA rats think they're anti-establishment folks, you know. It's hilarious, man. Somebody said debate me. Princess Bride, this is a great one. I don't know who that was, but you're funny. You're funny. Again, there isn't a debate here. Corporations have never paid less in taxes. They haven't. Trickle down doesn't work. I don't know if that's your argument. Don't worry, trickle down's gonna kick in any year now. Donald Trump cut the corporate tax rate to 21%, and he's keeping it there. If you don't know, normal working people in America pay 22%. So and this isn't even the effective tax rate, but you and I pay more than Netflix. I don't know. And these people want to debate it. What the fuck is there to debate? No, America's really great right now. That's why last year we needed the price of egg to be lower. But everything's awesome, and I just want to debate you on why it should stay like this. Or maybe Netflix pay no taxes. What the fuck do you... I'm not Benjamin... I'm not a fucking grifter, man. I'm not here to entertain both sides. There are no two sides. Corporations and the politicians are robbing the working class blind right now. Robbing us. And you want to pretend oh, we should have a debate. This ain't fucking Jubilee, bro. Go start your own podcast where you could talk about how Netflix paid too much in taxes. And I think it's better if working folks pay all the tax. Again, I hate to break it to you. I've been around since the 80s. I've seen it I've watched the decline, and you have too. You just want to pretend. You just want to pretend that shit's been only getting better. That's why the first time homeowner age is 40 or 50 years old? Yeah, back in the 90s, you could buy a home at 20, work one job. Now you have to wait till you're 50, and I'm pretty sure there's a 100-year mortgage now, and you're like, let me debate you on how awesome this is. Just on principle alone, the fact that you want to defend the status quo, I can't, I can't debate mentally handicapped people. Thanks, Reagan. Well, he's looking up from hell right now, laughing at us. These absolute cucks for Joe Rogan are the saddest people ever. This is why most of you still have to live with your parents. You understand that, right? Joe Rogan's convincing you, no, you've got it good. You should be thankful that Elon Musk chose to even pay any taxes. And all of you are like, yes, sir, thank you, sir. May I have another? I've never met a more pathetic group in my life. God damn. Stand up for yourself, You're working class. You go to work, or your parents do. Stand up for yourself. Stop being such a spineless toad. Shit ain't going good in America. It's why you guys elected Trump. I'm old enough to remember last year when people were like, oh, stuff is out of control bad. Yeah, well, it's getting worse, all right? And some of us, I'm fighting for you. What do you think is going to happen when we tax the wealthy? Our communities get better. The billionaires don't care because they don't even fucking live near you. They have a gated community and a yacht, and they don't care. I'm trying to say I'm sick of seeing GoFundMes for medical care. I'm sick of hearing about Uber rides instead of ambulances. I don't want to see any of this happen in my communities, and I'm going to stand up for it. It's not my fault that you're just willing to try and impress Joe Rogan how hard I can nod my head yes to everything he says. Bob, Bob, Bob. Oh, Donald Trump loves that. Him and Epstein think you're adorable. Thank you, Crush. I was about to delete it. I love these people. Man, if I was bald, I would embrace it. I ain't Tim Pool. Unfortunately, I'm not bald. Oh, all right, guys. I got to go. Hit subscribe.